you're taking all the suspect social security payments reportedly going to 12 million folks over 120 years old. Guys, please don't believe this bullshit. There was an inspector general report that looked at waste, fraud, and abuse for the social security payouts between 2015 and 2022. And they found that there was mostly overpayment, but in the grand total of allotments paid out, the ones that they found that were fraudulent were less than 1%. It is one of the most successful, not just social programs, but any government programs that the United States has ever had. And there have been continuous efforts over the years in a variety of different forms to change or alter or eliminate Social Security. And the last Republican one, and I know this is true because I went to an entire thing about it at the Cato Institute over on Massachusetts Avenue when they wanted to privatize it. I even read a whole book that they put out, a compendium on it. They wanted to privatize Social Security. And there was some movement around it, but ultimately it failed. There is, of course, in any government program going to be waste, fraud, and abuse. But Social Security has been one of, as I mentioned, the most successful at the time in which it was created, pulling 2/3 of the then adults in the country out of poverty and keeping them there. Do you guys remember that story? I think it was in Esquire or maybe it was GQ magazine. The homeless guy who was writing the story about his own homeless life. And I recommended it on social. I think I even recommended it here. Do you guys remember that? Read the story. The only thing keeping that guy alive was Social Security. That's it. That's it. There was nothing else. Without that, truly he would die in the streets. It's certainly, again, there are issues related to, again, paying into it, and you're paying, it's not a deposit account. You're paying the current generation and the next one pays over. There are, of course, any number of issues to solve as it relates to that, and then how old you need to be to collect, and raising the age in terms of when it can be, and there's any number of adjustments that can be made to any particular program. And again, certainly people who don't need the money shouldn't be getting it. People who are not eligible for the money should not be getting it. But I'm trying to be as clear as I can. I had people write me being like, are you saying that they haven't found any waste, fraud, and abuse Doge? Guys, the GAO found hundreds of billions of fraud. Well, I want that fraud, but waste at a bare minimum in Medicare. We, of course, know it exists, but it's well identified. The problems are less about solving that, although that's an important one, but it's just the math about how do you care for an aging or declining or an otherwise impoverished population mathematically. How do you do that? How do you do that? And these guys being like, oh, there's people 150 years old, getting money because they don't understand COBOL programming into the systems. It's just, I can't believe people take these fucking guys seriously. If you want to take waste, fraud, and abuse seriously, fine. I mean, yes. Who would deny that it's part of it? It's part of it. But we've got people who have looked into this, have found real huge sums of money. Seems to me like if we've already got it identified and tracked, doing something about that is probably the best. And the real reality is this is just a thing that one party in this country has been, as long as I have been an adult and as long as I've had any consciousness of political life in this country, that one party has had their sights on dismantling, minimizing, some way constraining or otherwise eliminating or privatizing Social Security. This is not new. It's the same thing with DC Home Rule. It's one party that comes to town every fucking time and they all say the exact same shit, how they want to just take over DC governance because they just don't like who votes here. All the other shit is ridiculous. There's not a fucking ounce of truth to it. I live here. I will tell you the truth about what actually happens here. It's the same thing with Social Security. It's the exact same fucking thing. But what are they going to do? I don't know. People voted for this. We will see.